Hey everybody, and welcome to Save Point. We have another podcast special. This one going over Dragon Ball Fighterz. This is going to be the complete podcast. This is going to be the complete. Oh, okay. We got a lot of air horns here. But this will be the complete podcast before the game actually drops out. But before we actually get into it, we actually have an introduction. We actually have a new member to Save Point, specifically for another section that we're gonna do, and he's gonna heavily help out with that with Save Point, which we'll be revealing to you guys shortly, hopefully a little bit later this week. But he's also gonna be on this podcast because he actually has a pretty good impression of Dragon Ball Fighterz. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome JRPG. Woo! Clap.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So how's it going, JRPG? How you feeling?
Doctor. Thank you. First, want to thank the Academy. Want to thank my connects. Hashtag be great. Hashtag save point. Oh man.
Hashtag doctor.
Hey man, feeling great. Just ready for this Fighters to drop finally. I mean, Friday can't come no quicker, but just waiting. Doing good though. Glad to be a part of the Save Point experience.
All right. And just because we're gonna run into another point as we did with DC Black originally being Chef C Black. Yeah, we're bringing that out of the closet. We won't be actually referring to JRPG as that all the time. We're just simply gonna shorten it to JP. Easy enough to say, easy enough to remember.
JPZ.
Honestly, now that I think about it, with all the jokes he's made, we probably should have just called him Doc. But I'm just saying, when we get the soundboard, that would have been the perfect moment for it. But
look, that's my blowhorn. When you get real.
I also
Everybody has their own blowhorn.
Yeah, man. When it gets real, Doctor.
So now that we've got JP's intro out of the way, I will also introduce everybody else. We have Photanima.
Hey.
We also have DC Black.
Yeah.
And wow. And we also have everybody's favorite troll, Yume.
No. No. Yeah.
It's gonna be a long podcast.
Now, before we lose you guys from all of the introductions here,
real excited.
Before we lose you guys, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the first point of the Dragon Ball Fighterz podcast, which is gonna be our impression of beta. That the beta just passed past weekend. Well, 2 weekends, and I think everybody kind of got a really good idea of how the game is gonna play. Took a little bit of time, but I feel like this is the right moment to talk about it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretty much go down and ask everybody how was their impressions, how did they feel about it, jumping into the game, how they felt about it after they got their hands on it and going through it, and then by the time the beta was over, how did you feel? So we're gonna start with our special guest, Photanima.
Yo. Alright. I didn't get to play. No. My first impression was, oh my gosh, this game is beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I actually finally was able to play, oh my gosh, it's so cute. We're all chibis. We all have giant heads. But fighting, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Yeah, like Funko Pops. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, with fighting, I'm like, okay, what do I do? So the tutorial mode, that helped out a little bit because I forgot as soon as I learned a certain function or a mechanic, I forgot instantly. That's just sort of attention span because I was ready to fight, So I get in there, do a casual, and I held my own, so it was good. It was really great. I love that. And what was the other points? I totally forgot again.
Okay, so that was how you went into it. By
That's
the
how I
end of the
went
beta, how do you think you felt? Like,
I felt the same. I didn't know what I was doing. But
so are you more hype or less hype?
I'm you know what? The hype is still there. I'm really eager to learn because I want to be one of the best girl gamers at this game. That's very, like that's a big goal for me. That's very ambitious, right? But I'm just like I'm still hyped, especially with okay, forget it. Let's move on. We'll come back when we say the good points.
Okay.
Sorry, but
All
I'm
right.
still hyped. There it is.
All right. Well,
Doctor.
JP,
Is there a doctor in the house?
Oh my gosh.
I guess JP needs a doctor now.
I'm sorry. Crash, is it on me now?
Yes, sir. It's on you.
All right. Well, all right. So my first impression was okay. When I saw it, I said, okay. It reminded me of the gameplay style reminded me honestly of Marvel vs. Capcom. A lot of fast-paced combos, air combos. I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. I played Marvel vs. Capcom for a long time, so I'm like, okay, that won't be a problem. But then the animation was really nice. I thought it looked like the Blaze Blue series because obviously it's made by them. But honestly, like when I finally got my hands on it and was finally able to get into the lobby and play, because like everybody else, I couldn't play the first day. It honestly reminded me of Guilty Gear, like animation styles and stuff like that, like just how the characters looked. And I was like, okay, great. Fan of Guilty Gear, no big deal. So when I finally was able to play, honestly, I picked it up pretty quick, like in terms of, combos, how to mix it up. And then, of course, there's the auto combo button. I mean, which I incorporate in there as well. So it was easy for me to pick up. It was easy to know like what to do, in terms of fighting styles, because I played games like that before. So I had no issue with it. That was going into it. When I finally started to play, I was like, okay, cool. I'm kicking butt, no big issues. I'm on top of the world. That was casual matches, right? When I got into ranked matches, Lord have mercy. That's exactly how I was. I was like, okay, rank matches, I got this. Next, the bell sounded. I was like, oh no, doctor! I don't want no twabble.
I don't want no twabble.
Man, I did not. I don't want no twabble. Look, it was all bad. All right, so finally playing against better competition, I was like, okay. Now I know what I need to do. It's really just how to mix it up really well. That's how I took it. And then obviously my biggest issue when playing fighting games, Crash, you always coach me on this one, is block.
It's like Piccolo and saying dodge, block.
It's essential. It's essential.
Like it's pretty essential. But yeah, and going into the actual game when it comes out on Friday, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for it. I mean, in terms of the basic mechanics, I have that down pack. I'm pretty ready to just incorporate more into it. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Like I'm like super game for it, and hopefully I can beat Crash in a match where I dodged and I did everything right. Hopefully, and that's the plan.
Well, I'll be proud
I'm taking
of you
down
if you
Crash,
can
everybody.
dodge.
But before I do Crash, I just don't need it. I'm not gonna need a doctor. Hopefully. I might need it that first time. Just saying.
Fair enough. That was actually pretty good. Gave us a good explanation of going into it and out, even comparing it to some other stuff. All right. Guess it's on DC Black. How'd you feel? Did you get a chance to play it a lot? I don't remember you talking about it too much.
I mean, and that kind of goes into my impression, to be honest with you. I would say lackluster because there was so much hype about this beta. And basically, it was like beta. What beta? You didn't play no beta. You just wasted a few gigabytes on your PS4 for no reason. And I'm just like, the first time I played it, it took me better part of almost the entire day just to get in.
And what day was that? Which day was that?
It was when they brought it back. Even the first time they had it, the 14th. In the 14th and 15th, like I could barely get in it. I can count on one hand how many matches I played.
Oh wow!
Oh,
And that's because like literally every time and this is the thing that kind of disturbed me was the fact that they even in practice mode it was kicking me out. And I was like, I've never played a game where in a beta even where you get in practice and it kicks you out because it's full. And I'm just like, man, like this is kind of pointless. So like I kind of was discouraged to play because I was like, I'm not gonna be able to. I saw like all you guys were really hyped, but I was just like, I can't do anything. So I'm just like, I kind of was just discouraged to really get on the beta. But once I did get on, like I went through the practice mode and everything, and that it was cool. It was actually it's people compare it to Marvel vs. Capcom, but I disagree. I kind of compare it more so with a more fluid version of Street Fighter.
A more fluid version of Street Fighter. Okay, yeah, why do you say that? Why do you say that? I'm actually
because like when I was playing it, and even when I was going through the moves, it reminded me so much more of like of a tag version of Street Fighter, not it being Marvel, because Marvel, especially with this last one, Marvel just took stuff to a realm it did not need to go to. Okay. So it kind of if I had to compare it to Marvel, I would compare it to Marvel 2.
Okay, all right.
So, I wouldn't compare it. I definitely wouldn't.
That makes a lot of sense. I agree.
I would not compare it to 3 at all. Like, yeah, like 3 literally, like this makes 3 and Infinite look like trash. Like, all right.
But I can say Infinite was trash, but okay.
Yeah, like, but I mean, and after I got, because I only played like 3 matches at between 3 to 5 matches. Well, no, actually, matter of fact, I only played 3 because it kept kicking me out. I only played 3 matches. Of those 3 matches, I think I won 2 of the 3.
Okay.
It is probably the most user-friendly practice version I've ever played of any game.
Okay.
Definitely because I've never played Guilty Gear before. I played Blaze Blue, but I didn't recognize that this was the same people that made Blaze Blue, and I actually like Blaze Blue. So, it was kind of a breath of fresh air. But I mean, other than that, it kind of just, like I said, like I see a lot of how people are about to basically mash this auto combo button. They about and think they doing something, and it's like, bro, you hit square. I can hear you in Texas smashing
square try.
And it's just like, bro, let that go. But yeah, like that's kind of like my summation of it. It was a very lackluster. By the end of it, it was a bittersweet moment because I was like, while I would like to say good things about it, and I have said some good things about it, there's not enough for me to go on because there's some substance for it.
Gotcha. That's actually pretty good. You may. Probably the person that played the game maybe the most. Actually, yeah, probably the most.
Yeah,
what do you got?
Don't hesitate.
Survey says
you need an essay. Like it should be a 3-page essay.
Remember, brief, sir. Brief.
So yeah, I mean, I did play it a lot. I think between both casual and ranked matches, I had to have before the second beta was over with at least like 200 matches.
Jesus.
So.
Oh. 200 matches.
Oh man, you guys are breaking up.
I look the beta. Can you hear me?
This dude Dre over here sound like he transforming.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, what I was saying was that beta just basically caught me at some good times. I mean, like I got to play for like an hour at 3:00 when the beta dropped for like everybody else when the open beta dropped. I played for an hour. Within that hour, I probably only had like 2 or 3 matches, and then basically I wasn't getting another match until like the next day when they fixed it a little bit better. But going into it, I didn't really think I was going to understand it like I did. Going into it, I thought it was going to be kind of difficult because I've played both Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, and jumping into Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue were not easy games for me to just jump straight into. Like, it took me a minute to understand what you need to do to play those fighters, and I'm still kind of lost with them in a way. But jumping into fighters they did a good job of teaching you what to do. At least the battle tutorial, they tell you where everything is, and then they have you utilize it within the tutorial, and then it's up to you to test it out on your own, at least in the beta and the online play. So, I picked it up pretty fairly, like everybody else. I started out just hitting like square and triangle, even though I wasn't really trying to, but when you kind of don't know what to do at first, you kind of have no choice but to do it until you get a grasp of how to actually fight in the game. So, I think it was a great idea for them to implement it. What me and Crash were kind of scared of is that there wasn't really going to be any depth in the game, as far as like it wasn't really going to get much more into the auto combos, which when everybody got to play the beta is kind of like what you saw. You saw nothing but auto combos.
Whoa.
Sunday night before everybody hit that battle tutorial, and then when they said we was getting that second beta, freaking basically Wednesday midnight to Thursday midnight, everybody came hard in ranked matches. There was no way you was stepping really into a ranked match and just getting by with doing an auto combo. There was no way. No way. It's like everybody that was really hyped for this game actually took the time out and was like, you know what? We're going to put a stop to that. So there's a lot of depth in this game. There's a lot of things you do. Like how to do that ground to air combo, I took off with it. And, once I realized there was a lot more depth in the game and you could do a lot more than auto combos, is when I really started to enjoy the game. So, yeah, I still have my hype for it. I feel bad for people. I really feel bad for anybody who were on the Microsoft side of it, who actually, like, most of them could not get into play, and they didn't even get the online battles, that extra beta. They only had offline battle mode. So
should have got a PlayStation. No.
So, hopefully it's all straightened out for them. I hope they get their time in. But game's right around the corner. It's about to get real. So, yeah.
All right.
Oh
So, leading into my impression of the game, I'd like to point out that I had almost zero issues playing this beta, which is rare.
Cookie?
I do, I like cookies. But I've played the first day, which was the pre-order day, and I will say I had zero problems fighting people. I had zero problems actually accessing the beta. Everything was like almost perfect on that day. I got into a lot of matches, a lot of casual matches that day, and I'll probably say I maybe did about 50 casual matches on that day. So there was a lot. And from there, I had to pick up a lot of information because the first thing that I was noticing was the whole thing with the auto combos and not really feeling like the game was hitting the mark. Like, that whole first day after playing it, my whole feeling about the game dropped from like 100% hype level to like almost a 15. It was bad because I could not really fathom the depth on the first day, and I had to sit there and literally think about it for a whole day. So when they actually opened the beta up for everyone, I was kind of like, whatever. Which was actually a good thing because nobody could get into the game anyway. So when I finally thought about it and, just thinking about it and looking at some gameplay of other people playing just to see, have they been doing auto combos this whole time? I kind of got an idea that, okay, maybe they aren't. Okay, let's find out what they're doing. And I jumped back into it and I got a much, much better feel for the game. And I was like, okay, this all makes sense now. And I played rank matches almost all the way through until the end of that weekend, which I think I did maybe about almost 30 at that point. So probably about 80 matches between the first 2 days for me. And I was like, okay, after figuring some of the stuff out, that hype level went from 15 up to maybe like 65. But I was still a little bit unsatisfied because it's like, I know there was something missing there, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So after the game went down, and then everybody started posting their, online experience, and everyone started posting tech and understanding of the game, and that part of the game started getting shared around the community, all of the things that I thought wasn't possible, and I learned was possible, completely changed my attitude about it. And this is exactly what Yubei was saying. Like, when it came out for that last day, everybody learned, came out of the woodworks, and the people who are serious about playing this game definitely played on that day, because
beating ass.
all of my matches after that became a lot more difficult. Like, the first time, like the first few matches of the beta, I lost not one match. I actually lost a few in that portion of the beta, and I'm like, holy crap. And I mean, it wasn't just like I could have won. No, it was like I got stomped, and I was like, wow, I need to figure out what you're doing. And from there, I actually sat down, went into the trial mode because they didn't have actual training mode, and I was like, okay,
sit down before I put you back down.
Pretty much. And when I figured out how they were doing what they were doing, I was like, okay, all of this makes sense. And then, going into figuring out how the ground and air combos work, how, wall bounces work, and then each character, I got to the point where I was like, okay, this is about as far as I can actually go with this beta. Like, everything else I'm going to have to learn once the game comes out. Not necessarily because I couldn't do it. It's just because there wasn't enough understanding to learn within the trial mode. So from learning and seeing other people do a lot of cool stuff and actually fighting people who are actually really, really into the game and learning and actually picking up stuff and winning some of those matches and even losing some of those matches, my brain was instantly like, yes, this is what I was hoping that the game would end up being. And it actually brought my hype back up to about 90. It's not back at 100, but it's about 90 because, and I'll go into that into the next segment of why I didn't go all the way back up to 90. But that was like my impression. I went straight to the bottom, and then through the whole process came pretty close back to the top. So I'm actually still highly waiting for the game to come out this Friday. So, next segment we're going to talk about is the problems with the beta. And I'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room and just automatically say the network connection as far as getting into the beta was abysmal. Everybody knows that. We all know that most people experience this. Was there anything else in the beta that you did not like?
I will say that first with something that maybe it was just because I never played, like I said, due to my inexperience with the games the type of games, fighting games they develop, I kind of didn't understand some of the stuff they were having you do in practice. It took me a while to be like, oh, so this is what you wanted. It could have been, I think it was a simpler way. You could have asked me to do that, but at least I got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like what Photanima was saying is the retention rate of a lot of the stuff you learn in practice. That was another thing I kind of was.
It's like easily forgettable. If you have to go back multiple times, and that's fine to do that. But I feel like it wasn't enough instances where you can reapply what you learn in that tutorial. Like when you defeat the enemy, it's done.
Exactly.
Instead of like let me run that back. But I guess that's what when we get an actual practice mode on a full release, that's what that's gonna be there for. But that's what my issue was.
But my thing is that kind of concerned me because I was just like, I hope that it's not in game. It's not like that where a lot of the character techniques are easily forgettable between characters. Because it's just like if it is, that kind of sucks. Because I feel like with the character, you shouldn't necessarily, especially if you're gonna main, like if you're trying to main that character, they shouldn't be easily forgettable.
And that's why I think I don't think it'll be like that because a lot of people, they'll practice in the lab, and their teams and figure out their combos, what combos work, what skill sets they are, and they will keep practicing with the same people, and so they can have a flow and go into, matches and whatever and apply what they, developed. So I don't think that would really be an issue.
Right. I agree. But I think outside of that, I think outside of those two things, I think it was I can't say that. I'm not even gonna throw that phrase out there. But no, it was a really good beta. I'll say that. I've played worse betas than this.
Oh, absolutely.
So, that's why I'll say like I've played worse. But yeah, like I think it was just that like that really bothered me. Besides the networking things, that was probably just the one thing that really bothered me. But I think outside of that, yeah, that's it.
My only problem was we didn't have. I mean, obviously, you guys already said
we
that.
can't hear a word you're saying.
Didn't have a Hold on.
Didn't have a what?
Start over.
Locked up.
I was saying that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was saying that you guys basically already said this, but I was saying my issues were that we didn't really have a training/practice room. You just basically had to keep doing the tutorials over and over, or pick a certain tutorial and just constantly figure stuff out in the tutorial. So it was like, yeah, we got a tutorial, but we don't have anywhere to practice any of this stuff. We just basically have to keep doing the same tutorials over and over, or keep pushing a certain tutorial to fight the same people over and over. But once they die, we got to do it all over again. And then my other issue was we didn't have an arena mode.
Yep.
So I was like, we were just basically stuck fighting random people, either casual or ranking. Like there was no way you could fight someone so you both can get an understanding of the game, or somebody can help you understand things that you don't get. You basically just had to fight people and figure it out on your own. Which, I mean, I'm not really complaining. I mean, I did have an issue with it, but I'm not complaining because it's a beta. So, it's really not really anything to complain about. It's just that's what they gave us. I'm glad to have it. I look forward to the actual game where I will actually have a training mode and arena mode. So, yeah.
Actually, and also too, going back, now that I look at it, there was one more thing I kind of didn't like. I didn't like the fact that they, right before the beta, they introduced all these characters and I couldn't use them.
Well, it's a beta.
I mean, it's a beta.
It's a beta.
I mean, it's a beta. But I mean, of all the characters that you could put in the beta, I would rather have characters that you just introduced rather than characters that you put in.
Well, they did. They did. Actually, they did. Because Nappa was a recently introduced character, and so was Beerus, and so was Adult Gohan, which they put all three of them in the game. And then they gave you somewhat the mainstays, but they even mixed it up because the original beta that they came out with, some of the characters from that, they swapped out for the newer characters. But they at least wanted to keep some of the other characters in the beta, just so, if you wanted to jump into this character, or this character is a little different than the other, they made sure to mix the two.
Because like we all wanted Hit and Goku Black, and they knew this, so they said, "Nah, we're gonna save them because we know everybody wants Hit and Goku Black."
Okay, well, I'll table that I'll table that because yeah, I didn't even know Napa was in the beta. Due to inability to play.
That second day he was, I noticed.
So,
I was saying the second day I noticed he was in the beta because I didn't see him the first time I was playing it.
yeah, I barely seen anybody use him. I think I ran into one person during all of the matches that I played that played with Napa.
I just seen people with his avatar.
Yeah, people with his avatar and other people standing inside of the avatar to make it look like he has Super Saiyan hair. That's it.
Or 18's hair.
Or 18's hair. So, I mean, for me, what I did not like, oh man, I'll tell you, like, this whole thing, like, transformed itself, like, 3 times in my head. I really hated the auto comboing system. Like, I thought it was a little bit, more like Persona, and it kind of is, but it isn't. So when I figured out like what was the problem with it, because originally I was like, okay, this is almost a little bit too much damage, but it should be an auto combo to be used that easy. When I figured out what the actual problem was, and I'm actually a little sad that it took me this long to figure it out. And I didn't really figure it out until I realized that doing these auto combos are not optimal. Is that the auto combos really don't build much meter. And then when I started doing my own custom combos, I was building meter like crazy. And I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. So I've really figured that part out. So I wasn't as upset. I still kind of feel like after finding that out, they might want to scale back the damage on the auto combos just like slightly at this point, like super slightly, maybe like 5 or 6% slightly. Because I still feel like they do a lot of damage for as free as they are. But at the same time, I don't know what they're going to do. They'll probably leave it the same because I noticed that they really want to push the factor that new players can jump into the game. New players can actually get into it and not feel like they're weak. But when you understand how fighting games work, you understand how meter management is extremely important. You understand that nothing that they're doing with the auto combo is really that good. Until they start coupling it with the idea of what I ran into a lot in the beta is someone picking like a team full of characters to shoot beams across the screen. And then they do that, and then when you get close, they try to auto combo you out. Which was a little frustrating, but there were definitely ways to get in on that. And yeah, I just feel like for a lot of players who don't really understand how to get around that, it's probably going to be a major roadblock. At least for like the first maybe month or 2 of the game. And the other problem I had, which I had a problem with this to start, and I still have a problem with it now, is the strength of the rush attack in this game. It is almost a little bit too safe. You can punish it easily enough, but in a lot of cases, it just rush into you with almost no way for you to honestly punish it. So I felt like that was a problem. They would jump in.
Anybody else here?
Yo.
Okay, what happened?
I don't know. Right.
I think Crash just crashed.
I don't think so.
Sounds about right.
But it's okay though. I think he'll come back.
Me, but
okay, we hear you now.
All right, there we go.
Weird. Okay.
We thought you crashed. Crash.
Nope, I'm still here. I don't know what part you guys didn't hear, but more or less I was just saying that the rush attacks were a problem that I had simply because they were a little bit too free to use and could be punished very, very lightly. And there was no honest way to completely punish someone who abused the system. Like, you had to come up with a way to stop it. One of the other problems that I felt is like if and you just tried to rush or swing out an attack, depending on the attack, you were easily countered by it. So the only honest, safe option that you had was literally blocking it, which blocking it literally left you at not a good advantage against it. So that was one of my more problematic things, especially in a game like this like Marvel vs. Capcom style, when characters can be above you or below you out of screen, and they can easily just press the rush button and then they get like an instant cross up and then that cross up also pushes you in a situation where you can easily just get a combo off of it. Like, oh yeah, I just hit this person. They didn't know which way I was hitting them, and I didn't know which way I was hitting them, but now they're completely set up for a combo because of the way the rush pushes you into the right position to get air combo.
Yeah,
Thought that was a little weird.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah. So it's like when you're dealing with a situation where someone's throwing beams and stuff all the way across screen, and you try to super jump under it, and they dash in, and then they hit the dragon rush under you. Or I think the dragon rush is the grab, but the dash in under you. And now you got to figure out, did you block it or did you not? That's a little bit too ambiguous. I feel like they need to find some way to make that a little bit more punishable. I understand they do it just to kind of make the game move a little bit faster, and I'm okay with that. But I feel like there should be a little bit easier ways to play that particular move.
Agreed.
Yeah, those are my major problems with it. Other than that, it was a beta. I didn't really have a problem with the beta itself. I'm a little sad personally because none of the characters that I actually want to play were actually in this beta, and I kind of resorted to picking up Goku, which was something I didn't originally want to do, but I resorted to picking him up simply because he was the character that you played with in the trial. So it's like, well, I know how to play with Goku now.
Right.
And Gohan and Teen Gohan, which, I mean, Teen Gohan, I do want to dabble in him later. So I was like, okay, fine. But, yeah, Goku wasn't really the character that I wanted to. Now I know how to play with Goku, so there's that. So, anybody else got any problems that they have with it, or should we just go ahead and jump into the things that we really, really liked about it? Like,
oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I guess it's not like it's just, I guess it's a personal problem because I'm new to this whole world or whatnot. But it really annoyed me that people were spamming their beams, and it's just like, okay, dude, like, come on.
Welcome to every Dragon Ball Fighter game, then.
Yeah.
Well, Xenoverse is easy spam. It's super spammy with Xenoverse, and of course they fixed that with Xenoverse or whatever. But with this one, and it's not super spammy because the meter, it's kind of like you said, it's, you know, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to build it up. But I'm just like, man, if you don't stop freaking spamming me with these beams, it was just really frustrating with that being across the stage, and I just have to get around that. And that's about it. But that's what I kept running into, were spammy people in the beta. Other than that, it was pretty good. It was pretty smooth, I suppose.
That was petty. I spammed him back.
And see,
basically, you're gonna spam me, I'll spam you back. No questions asked.
And see, that's the one weird thing about it. It's like, that's the part that I was saying.
Good and be an actual fighter and not a spammer. So that's why I'm like,
credits.
But you know, you funny. But yeah, that was just, that's that. I'm like, fine, I'll auto combo you. I get them, you know, punish them, do that behind them, smack them, whatever. Yeah. So I beat them, whatever. But it's just, that's my personal strife with that.
Yeah, anyway, and it's understandable. And, you know, as I was saying before, that was one of the problems that I found, is like, you'll run into those situations where, like, players new to the series that should be honestly learning and understanding the better parts of the system would either get pushed into a box where they're pissed off because that happens, or they'll say, oh, well, I can, you know, just do the auto combos, and they won't actually learn the system. It's like, once you actually learn the system, that's good, but then let's say you learn the system and you're still kind of new to fighters, it's going to frustrate you really, really bad when you run into that, because even though you know how to combo and you know how to do these things, that's still kind of hard to get around unless you know, more or less veteran in fighting game. If you've jumped over enough of reused fireballs, you'll kind of get the idea. But if you haven't, then it becomes a little bit of an issue.
I say the main thing that I had an issue with, not really an issue, but it was like a small letdown, was that I was expecting it to play like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, and I was a little disappointed when I was like, well, I thought it was going to be more technical, like a little bit more difficult to pick up. I mean, it's cool to have auto combos, but I was expecting it to be a little bit more difficult because I felt like that would have been, it would have made everybody a lot better, a lot quicker. But, for what it is, I mean, it's a great game, but it's just one of those, oh man, I was hoping it was like more combo based, and this one's just more like, honestly, like you guys have been saying, like, yeah, if you guys really wanted to, you could just press triangle or square the whole match.
Yeah,
But,
but
but it's cool.
Hashtag mash them buttons.
Mash
bringing that back to like also what me and Yume were saying earlier is like once you kind of see the depth of the game and you see what else you can do, the game does get rather technical. It's just I don't think everybody, at least not for the first 2 or 3 months, are going to pick up why you wouldn't want to go for the auto combo, because the auto combo gives you a little bit too much damage out of the gate, where people really won't pay attention to, oh, I need to do more damage. They'll think, okay, I'm just doing damage, so that's okay. And damage is damage. It's good to always do damage, but it's like, why would you go for a 35% combo when this 27% combo works just fine if it makes it easier for you to hit someone? And that's what I was saying. Yeah. But then, like, you get into the real technical aspect of it, and then you're fighting somebody that's doing like 45 to 70% of your life. Then you're gonna understand, yeah, maybe I should learn a little bit more. But it's like, it's gonna be hard to see that when. Oh, go ahead, Yume.
I was just about to say, like, one of the things that I noticed that when I played on the extra beta day is that it was obviously, like we said, it was a clear difference between the people who played on Sunday and the people that played on the extra beta day, because it's like, yes, you have the auto combos and other people have the auto combos, but it's like once you understand the type of people you play with, like the difference between the people who use auto combos and the difference between the people who aren't using auto combos, it's easier, especially when you played enough of people who don't use auto combos. It's easier to deal with the people that do use auto combos, because as soon as the match starts, you know what type of person they are. And it's like, if it's somebody using an auto combo, you know right off the bat, because they're whiffing. They keep whiffing. And if you know that they're constantly whiffing because they're trying to get the auto combo, all you have to do is tell yourself is to be patient.
Yep.
Because they're just going to keep whiffing it out, and at some point they're going to end up in a bad spot, and you punish them every time.
Yep. And you punish them hard.
And you punish them hard. And once you do that, you really won't have a problem with people who auto combo, because you'll be able to tell the difference. Like, when I went against somebody that auto combo and then went against somebody who actually knew what the hell they were doing, I got mopped. And you know what? I did not feel bad. I accepted that.
Right. I always do. I get mad losing the auto combo people. But with somebody who's skillful, I was like, oh, mad respect, dog. I love that. I'll take that.
I got mobbed by this guy who literally just did me in. And I was just like, you know what? I'm fine with this.
So, like, I'll live with it. I'll live with it.
It just told me to get good. So,
speaking of good, let's transition into the good. What did you love? Like something that stuck out that honestly you were like, yeah, that was amazing. I really like that. Not that, okay, it was just okay. No, I'm talking about, yeah, this was just something for you.
Look, can we talk about...
sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, okay, so the one thing that stuck out to me that I really did like was that air combos are that deal. Meaning, if you can get air combos in the entire match, you're more than likely going to win. And actually, it's really easy to pick up. You would think, like, sometimes it might be difficult because, you knock them in the air and what are you going to do next after that? But honestly, air combos is where it's at, honestly. Like, if you really want to get good, master air combos. You get that in, you're going to be tough to beat. That was just the first thing that stuck out to me was like, okay, cool. Air combos are good. Air combos are actually great. They're easy to pick up, and it's actually good for like the people that want to be the best at this game. So,
Pokemon? No.
like no one ever was.
I think one thing I will highlight as being something that really liked was what I said earlier was the practice mode. You know,
To get good.
that was the most user friendly practice mode I've ever seen. Like, and I have to go back, and I go back because I made this reference before. Even Street Fighter practice mode is not as good as this one. And I was like,
Yeah.
Street Fighter practice mode. I'm just being honest. For
No, I
somebody
know. The
that
Street Fighter practice mode leave you hanging, dog. Like that is boy.
like Street Fighter practice modes just be leaving you. You finish the practice mode, you like, so that was
What?
it. Like this practice mode, like this should have been a beta. This should have been free with instructions. But even I played through the practice one. I was like, man, like I feel like I got the groundwork laid, the foundation laid for me to actually be a really good player. Everything, yeah, I had to remember a lot of this stuff because a lot of it's very technical, but I really feel like I have a really good foundation. And I mean, I think for this game, one of the things that's going to be a really good dependent on you being a really good player is you having a good foundation. Like if your foundation is really strong, like JP was saying, if you have a really good foundation in the air combos, you will be a force to be reckoned with. But in the practice mode helped you do that. Like, man, even when it came down to summoning Shenron, man, it was like I was trying to summon Shenron, and I was just like, okay, well, so get the other 7 Dragon Balls. Little did I know, I didn't realize the fact that as I was like fighting when I fought my one of those 3 casual matches that I did, that I was actually gathering up the doggone Dragon Balls. I'm like, oh, okay, this is how you. And then like the little tips they give you, even when you go into like the options, it shows you a layout of your controller and then the buttons you have to press. I'm like, man, can y'all actually help other fighters develop a perfect practice mode? Because this is a near perfect practice mode.
I will admit they did give you a lot of stuff in the tutorial kind of. I do feel like they left a couple things out that I learned later that I was like, oh, that was so much better. Like that would have literally taught me how to play the game so much better. But as far as being user friendly, I feel like that was the best. Like if you had like a tier level for like beginner, intermediate, and expert, that was definitely perfect for just like beginner level 4. So I agree. They did put a lot of work into that. Street Fighter doesn't really do that. They kind of like toss you in and say, hey, do these combos. Oh, you can't do this combo? Try harder. And then it's like, well, okay. Like you're kind of forced to like learn from someone else who has been playing Street Fighter. So and then we push it into like the Tekken realm, and Tekken just say, hey, push buttons. We telling you nothing, which
But that's why I said, like, I think every fighter could really learn something from, and I don't even Mortal Kombat, like, they could really learn something from their Dragon Ball Fighterz practice mode. Like, though they did leave some things out, that's why I said it was a near perfect practice mode. Near perfect. Like everybody should be taking notice of. This is what you do to bring. You wanna add new blood into your fighting game. Have a good practice mode.
Yeah, have a good tutorial. Yeah,
100% agree.
Well, okay.
Photanima.
Yeah.
Photanima.
What's up? No, I was just like taking all that in, what you guys are saying. I mean, because I know nothing of this world. But what I want to say, something.
No enough.
Nah. What I want to say, what I really love, I'm not even talking about like the game mechanics. Really, okay, well, a little bit, but not really. I just want to say how much I appreciate this game as far as capturing the entire feel, in my opinion, of Dragon Ball Z or the Dragon Ball universe. Like I just feel like this game, if you never watched the anime, if you never even heard of it, but you got into this game, I feel like you would get a sense of what Dragon Ball was about. I just feel like that's what you would get when you play this game. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot because I'm just like trembling from this excitement. But like, I love how a lot of us, we skip the menu, the intro, right, when the characters are finna talk to each other. But I really love that some characters say unique things depending on which character that they're, matching up. I also love the details with the background that it changes. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. It just was really quiet. It was weird. But anyway, I really love the details in the background whenever it changes. When you deflect the ki blast, it'll go in the background, destroy something. I love that you can knock your opponent off of the stage. And when, if it's not the last opponent, when your next opponent comes in, it pans to the next location. All right, we're going to fight over here. Let's go. I love those little things, those little details. I feel like it makes a great game, and it creates a story within the fighting game just like perfectly. So that's what I want to talk about, really, or mention about the game. You guys are, hitting all the points when it comes to the combos and air combos and different attacks. I just want to talk about, the artistic value of it. And also, like I mentioned before, I love how each character has a unique combo string. I love they have their own move set, and I love they have their own characteristic of what makes them different from, another member of your team or their opponent. I love stuff like that. Yeah, I'm fighting
like when
somebody
new. Flicks you in the forehead.
You know what I mean? Like they captured each character in this. It's like, wow, you guys really watch the anime like that? Like, wow, it's really awesome. So I appreciate that from Aussie fan, fanatic, whatever individual about this game. So yeah, woo. So cool points. Kudos for you guys creating this awesome, fantastic, beautiful game. Yeah,
Doctor. Yeah, I got a few things that I actually love. Like, one, to piggyback off of what Photanima was saying, I was like really geeked when I saw it, and I told her about it when I was fighting somebody, and they started throwing ki blast at me, and I did a homing dash to avoid the ki blast. And I thought it was so sweet that as you did the dash, you knocked the ki blast out the way. Of course, we already knew this, but what got me is when, as you just nonchalantly just knocked the ki blast out the way, I saw one of the ki blasts go into the background, like the far background, and crashed into the ground, left a whole bunch of smoke, and turned into a crater. And I was like, yo, that is so dope. That is cool. Like, I lost my shit when I saw that, because that was just so awesome. Like, I did not expect to see something like that. And it, like, pleased my eyes so much.
Like, it just, you feel immersed a little bit more in that game because of stuff like that. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, like, it was really dope. One of the other things that I liked as I played the beta, and Crash, you know what I'm talking about, is when they started going over the Shinron mechanic, and we were all scared because we were like, we don't really know how this mechanic goes, but however y'all make it go, please give us an off switch, an off and on switch. And as we played the beta, you realize that it is, how do I put this? It is simple to get the Dragon Balls, but you are not going to come across getting all 7 as easily or as quickly as you thought you would in a match.
Right.
There are a lot of matches you would go through without even getting the balls at all. Like, you probably only get like 1 Dragon Ball. There are some intense matches where Shinron does get called. But, like, if he does, the match has been so long, it's like, all right, at some point, I kind of saw him coming. So, it's a game changer, but it's not a game changer that you can really rely on. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like you're not really mad at the fact that mechanic's there, because it doesn't really interrupt you like you thought it would after seeing it for the first time. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like the fact that you can still get the Dragon Balls if you want to play technical. You can still get the Dragon Balls if you want to use the auto combo. it's dope. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. If they do give us an off switch, I would still appreciate that. But it's cool. And then like the last thing, I really have to say is that it's real simple too. Some level 3s have a clash, and I find that so fucking awesome because I am a guy who loves clashes. And I did one match, and this dude Goku tried to get me with a freaking level 1 Kamehameha, and I had a dog Gohan, and I was just like, no the fuck you not. And I did a dog Gohan's level 3, and it clashed, and it was so dope because it like met like right in the center, and it was just like and then it's like boom, we back at neutral state. Nobody accomplished anything, but nobody's dead, so let's continue to fight. Like I thought that was so sweet. So, yay clashes, yay character references, and I like the meta at the fact that everybody is in the meta on knowing how not shit Goku is to his own son. So just throwing out there. I love that, Arxis. You the people. Good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying, man. Goku ain't shit. Anyway, Crash, do you have anything to add?
I mean, as far as anything else that you guys didn't already mention, I mean, you guys hit the nail on the head as far as a lot of the good points. Actually, I got one good one, which was one that I didn't learn until later. The pushback mechanic in the game. I thought it was a lot more difficult, but for some odd reason, I thought the pushback mechanic was quarter circle back and the special button when it's just back in the special button. So when I figured that out, that opened up a lot more options for me, especially with dealing with people from a distance. Though it still doesn't really help out against beam users as far as I've noticed. It does help out with home and dashes, but it doesn't really help out.
No, you can eat the whole beam if you reflect it.
Oh, you can? Okay, I was just terrible at doing it for beams.
You can reflect the whole beam.
Okay, sweet. That's good to know. I was just doing it terribly then. So
I mean, you got to know they're about to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that mechanic itself, I felt was pretty cool because now if you kind of get an idea, especially if it's somebody you've played a couple matches with, you get an idea of what their patterns are, and you know, oh yeah, I can reflect this. You can do that, and it's not just beams; it's actual attacks too. So they literally implemented a pretty good parry system, and I think it's also interesting that they did it the way that they did because with the parry system, unlike let's say how they had a parry system in Street Fighter Third Strike, you're technically blocking when you parry because it's back and special and not tapping forward the moment you get hit. So a little safe, but not really, because if you screw it up, you're gonna eat a whole combo for free.
Yeah.
So
bro, it's embarrassing. I had somebody parry my whole combo.
Yeah. So it's like
I felt like shit afterwards, but yeah.
So that was one of the mechanics that I will say that I enjoyed a lot, is figuring out how that worked. It was like, oh, well, now that makes a lot of sense. You can get away with all this stuff. So, all right, and moving to the next section, unless somebody else has any more goods. No? Cool. No. We finally got the full roster. The full starting game roster. The difference here is they actually showed that Android 21 will be a playable character, which we assumed. But
Android Bay.
Bay 21.
Oh my gosh.
I just want to point out I'm using this character, like, hands down. I saw her gameplay. I saw everything she had, and I'm like,
she gonna complete my team Pepto-Bismol.
I don't even care what team she's on at this point. I'm using it.
Like, Fierce 18 in her.
With Nappa and Tiana will be straight.
Oh, I'm still going with my Trunks TN hit But then again, Hit might move to the secondary team. I'm not sure. It depends on how Hit feels. Like, I gotta play him first. Because it's like I only know so much about Hit. I've seen quite a bit of actual gameplay from her, and they explained what button combination she does. And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Especially since she can actually steal moves from other people. Which, I'm a little confused about that, because they said, oh yeah, she can steal moves from other people. But I'm like, is she stealing moves from that exact character? Or is it she gains a move when she does that technique? Because it seems like she had a solar flare even though she wasn't fighting Krillin in a video that I saw.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
But what if Krillin was on the team and he switched out?
And that's the thing that I can't remember. I have to go back just to be sure. Because if Krillin's on the team and she had solar flare, it's like, okay, cool. But if he wasn't, then it's like, yeah. Also, I like her level 3 where she turns you into like some sort of candy and eats you. It's not like Majin Buu where everybody just turns into a candy or chocolate piece. Well, I'm just saying, like, when she turns you into food versus like Majin Buu's turning you into candy or chocolate that looks like you. I actually like that each person, or I'm not sure if it's each person, but everybody seems to have like a different look depending on the character. So like Goku Black was a donut, a chocolate donut, by the way, which I thought was kind of funny that they made Goku Black a chocolate donut.
That's the only dark skin we're gonna get, huh?
And then I noticed she made someone else like some sort of pink, like macaroon or something, and then somebody else was like a
somebody was a tart.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool that she turns different people into different things. So, but yeah, also one of the mechanics that she has that I thought was actually pretty interesting that I'm wondering how exactly it might work, which may mean she might have some of the more deadly air combos. Her air heavy does not spike you.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
So that means that her air heavy can definitely be used in combo conjunction, unless they make it where if you hit the heavy, you can no longer jump cancel. Which if they allow you to jump cancel, oh, it's going to be so much fun. But I'm not sure. We'll see. But
well, I ain't fighting Crash. No.
Oh, come on. It's not going to be so bad.
You are...
It's not going to be so bad.
It's not gonna
Whatever.
be so bad.
He going to beat me like I stole something.
But I'm definitely going to use her. I'm still halfway to figuring out if she's going to be on the main team or she's going to be on the secondary team, of which, honestly, I don't care. I'm just going to use her in some way, shape, or form. So,
yeah.
I love the fact that she's unlocked just by beating the game, and you ain't got to do no crazy thingamabob to unlock her.
I mean, you got to go through the story mode, which if this is anything like any of the other Arc Sys stories, you're going to be down there for a minute. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, yeah, I beat the game. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a couple hours to beat that game, which is good. But at the same time, yeah, you're not playing with her day one. So.
Also, I have great news, but I'm not spoiling. There are other avatars other than the characters we got.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is good news.
He spoiled it for me. But it was a good spoil, so.
That ain't even what I'm talking about.
Oh no, you gotta spoil it for me. Hold on, send it.
Nah.
Alright, that's all
gonna
good.
have to just find out.
So, we're kind of at the freestyle section. Anybody got any other things they want to talk about with the game?
The game itself? Alright, it's simple. People gonna catch these hands, people gonna lose friendships, and it's gonna be a great time. Basically, right?
I don't think it's a great time if you lose a friendship, is it?
Six-player party mode. Let's go.
The doc over here is out of control.
No, I'm just saying. Look, you know,
the doctor over here is out of control.
I'm not out of control. I'm just saying people gonna catch these hands. I'm gonna catch these hands, and you know, it's either you're gonna get down or get lost. One of the two. You're gonna get good. You're gonna get great. Right. Thank you. Don't be sitting. No, we're not gonna finish that one. But dang, whatever.
I'm calling malpractice.
Playing fighters like, whoa, wait a minute.
Just I'm calling malpractice. Anyway,
Bro, are y'all ready?
DC about to do prostate exams during this game.
Party mode.
anywho, look, I'm going to be training. You guys have to train me all the time. I'm not taking no for an answer.
Okay.
That's how it is.
Player party mode.
Nandeska?
Look, simple.
It's okay, Gohan. We're gonna teach you very well.
All you
First
gotta
thing we're gonna tell you how to do.
Hold on.
show
Dodge.
her potato salad.
Oh my god.
Show her
Don't
potato
call me
salad.
Gohan.
Survey
He's
says.
gonna do get you killed.
Fresh and Yume, you gotta show her potato salad, bruh. That's all you gotta do. Give her potato salad. Survey says.
Make sure she knows the way.
Oh my gosh, we're not doing this.
We're not.
Fresh. When it's February 1st, we'll put it to rest, okay? We only got a week left of it.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's the whole podcast, guys. I mean, I'm highly excited for the game. Comes out Friday.
Crash didn't answer me about 6-player party mode, but it's okay. It's fine.
What?
You don't get no 6-player party
So the
mode.
game comes out Friday. Okay, 6-player party mode. We'll talk about it. I'm not looking forward to it after playing the game. It's gonna be a little bit too chaotic.
Especially with y'all. Oh my gosh.
Like, it's gonna be
I
really
think I'm
chaotic.
kind of straight on that.
The only way I'm actually going to enjoy it is if during combos, like, okay, you know how you can pretty much DHC into somebody else's combo from the ground? I'm hoping that your teammates will be able to do that on their own.
That's what I was thinking, and I hope so. That'd be so cool. That'd be so clutch.
It would be. Because then I can see team battle actually being like almost really, really fun to watch, just to see when people come in and when they do stuff. You'll see a bunch of different fighting styles in one match. We'll see. I don't have too much faith. But
Somebody get knocked into a level 3 and you're like, show me potato salad. And then as they get vaporized by the beam, it's like, doctor. No? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna put it to you like this, man. This game's about to be fire. It's gonna be a lot of time spent. It's gonna be some fun stuff. And honestly, when in doubt, auto combo out.
the sad part about it is he is 100% correct.
He's right.
Like,
like, I'm sorry, like, Fresh versus Fresh might be in his butt kick, and he's like, you know what? I got to do an auto combo. I don't want to do it, but I'm getting my butt kicked. Can't do it.
When in doubt, auto combo out.
And Crash is just gonna be waiting for one of us to do that. He's like, all right, I'm waiting for you to take JP advice. Please take JP advice. He's saying that in the back of his head. Please take JP advice so I can light you up.
Hey man, I cannot confirm or deny.
It's gonna be a wrap. I'm like,
Crash gonna be like, survey says.
I cannot confirm or
It's
deny.
up there.
He gonna hit that. He gonna hit that level. He gonna hit that level 3, and then turn his back on you like Jiren.
Crash gonna be like, show me the auto combo. It's up there.
Oh man.
Well, yeah. So outside of listening to bad advice by JP, game comes out Friday. I'll be playing it at midnight. So I already have the game being prepared to download. I don't know if I can pre-download it yet, but I'll definitely be playing it the day of. I'll probably start off with story mode, and I'm planning on playing
9 o'clock Thursday. Gonna be picking that bad boy up. Gonna be fun.
I plan on playing well until the night. So probably gonna do a long stream.
Crash, you took a sick day already?
I didn't take a sick day. I have other things that I need to do the next day, but that also means I don't have to be up early.
He might be leaving early.
So
potato salad will be served, everybody.
All right. That was
potato salad. You get potato salad. You get potato salad. Y'all getting potato salad.
Everybody get ready for Team 3-star.
3-star. Whoop, whoop, doctor. Jackie, always okay.
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
You love
I
to
have
see
no
that, JP.
idea.
Wouldn't you love to see that?
I have no idea.
Yo, you may. You love to see that. Wouldn't you love to see that, you may? Yo, you may. Nope.
So, to wrap this up, before they go more into this, Dragon Ball Fighterz, January 26th. Hope you all have fun with the game. And
Who's your team?
Don't say. My heart, man.
Crash is like,
Whoa.
hey, yo, I hope you all have fun December 26th, because the 27th, I'm killing all y'all.
Boy.
I always dream to square modded.
Negative. I'm terrible at this game.
I hope y'all made y'all funeral arrangements. That's basically what he said.
This dude Crash gonna launch you up in the air, and then all of a sudden it's gonna freeze frame. He gonna be like, it was at that moment that you knew you effed up, and then hit you with a level 3.
It hit like freeze frame, like, yeah, my name's you, man. And you probably wonder how I got into this. But I'll start on Monday's podcast. I said I was gonna give Crash these hands. It didn't work out that way.
Now you know that's you, JP. I don't know why you talking.
And I listened to some bad advice by JP, and then yeah.
So yeah, Dragon Ball Fighterz Friday. See you guys next time.
See ya.